Hi everyone, so this video will be my last video for my inventory check-in, and this will be all the other miscellaneous plants that I don't think I have enough for their own dedicated video. And I'm going to start with my Phrag. So this is Phrag Eva, and I got this at one of our Christmas auctions, and for a while it hadn't really done that well for me. It was in spike when I first got it, but since then I haven't gotten into spike. Right now it's doing a lot better than it was before. The only issue is that these newer growths, although they're growing, they're a little bit pale, so I'm wondering if the light is too bright for it, or I don't think it's a nutritional issue. You can see on these smaller new growths, well, I don't know if they're new, but these are definitely darker than these ones, so not really sure what's going on. And this one is my Paph emersonii. Previously I had it somewhere else and the leaves are a bit pale, so I've moved it here, and you can see now the leaves are a lot darker, which is really good, and it's pushing out a new leaf in the middle there. I still haven't had this bloom for me yet though. And this is a seedling Phrag Lovely Lynne, and I got this during a culture class. So our Orchid Society has once a month culture classes, so usually they'll have a topic about like culture of certain orchids, or a member will go over how they take care of their orchids. For this class it's about deflasking, so they bought a flask and everyone would pot up their little seedlings and then take it home. So I had 3 before, but I only have 1 survivor now, which is this one, and it doesn't look super good. It's a bit pale. Actually, this one's actually quite yellow, but there's something growing in the middle, so we'll see how that goes. I did have it in an enclosed container, but I thought that maybe it could be in its own pot, which is why it's like this right now. So we'll see. And this one is Gongora portentosa, and I finally was able to get a basket for it. It still has this liner to keep all the rock wool in, but it's situated a lot nicer now. There's this growth and then also this one as well that I didn't notice last time. And so far they're growing really well, which is good. This one has not bloomed for me yet, and I kind of dislike the way it's growing. It's not really straight across. It's kind of like 3-dimensional like this, so you can see that this growth is underneath. I think this one is okay on the top there, but I sometimes wonder if it has tried to bloom but it can't come out just because it's underneath. But we'll just need to see how these new growths turn out, and maybe I'll get a spike on it, but who knows. And this is my Stanhopea nigro-violacea Batman. I've had okay success with this plant, and by success I mean it grows fine. I don't even remember if it tried to bloom for me once. I think it tried to bloom, but the flower never actually opened. But since then, if that happened, or I might be thinking about something else, it hasn't bloomed or attempted to bloom since. I did change the media to cocoa husk, and I did that this year, I believe, earlier this year, hoping for better blooming results. I kind of waffle back and forth whether I should get rid of this plant, but I really do want to try. That's why I made the change with the media, to see if anything will change. But for now, I'm going to keep it. Alright, so these two are Paffinia Rugosa, and I've had this bloom a couple times for me, but not really the best performing bloomer. It does tend to grow well. The reason why they look pretty shriveled is before they were both in this pot as one plant, and they were growing kind of like sideways, which was bugging me. So I decided at the size that it is now that I would just split them and have them try to grow more upward. So that's why it's like this. This one does have a new growth starting on that side, so even though this growth doesn't look super good, I think it'll be okay. This one has yet to really do anything for me, so we'll see. My plan is once this one gets going, then I'll donate this to our raffle table so someone else can enjoy it. And this one I got just recently at our summer sale. It is Kaise Rhea, so that's very exciting. I did kind of want it, and I saw one of our members was selling it, so it was a bit of an impulse buy, but I'm super happy to have it. So you can see there's one. This is the latest growth, and this one had some leaves, but it decided to fizzle out, so I mean that's fine. But I also can't tell if they're separate plants or one big plant. And this one is Kaise Rhea, and this is the latest growth. I can see how big it is and super plump, which is awesome. I used to have a Chysis levis, but I was pretty disappointed for it to turn out white. So I'm happy to have this aurea. It's from Equigenera and it's done really well for me so far. Hopefully the next growth I'll get a bloom out of it. I mean, it seems pretty happy in its setup. I would like to have this hanging. I'm not sure if having it at the window would give it enough light. Having it hanging here would be really nice, at least so it's out of the way. Sometimes it falls when the media dries out. And this one is Galeottia fimbriata, and I've had this one for a while. I used to have a lot more growths, but those have since, I don't remember if they rotted or their pseudobulbs became consumed, but I had a bunch of brown pseudobulbs, so I cut those off, and this is what I have. This one is turning brown, but it's not squishy. It's a little bit squishy, actually. But I don't think it's raw. It's not like soft. I just think it's going to be consumed by this one. For a while, I'd had issues with fungus. Like I would have like kind of not clean leaves. And now it's a lot better. It's a bit brown here. And this one, I don't know why it's like this, but it's doing okay so far. This one tends to be really slow growing for me, and I've only had it bloom for me once, which is, I'm glad it bloomed, but I would like for it to perform a bit better. And this one is Rudolfiella saxicola, and I purchased this at our spring show. It hasn't really done too much. When I got it, it had 2 growths on it, which was I think this one and this one, and they seem to be more or less fully grown, which is good. I don't think it's blooming sized yet, but the flowers on these are supposed to be red and yellow, and they kind of like hang down. Also, just a little bit information about this plant. Apparently it's related to the Miscellaneous. So yeah, this is a bit unique in my collection, so I'm happy to get this growing. And this one is Aneotochilus roxburghii Milky Way, and I also got this one at our last spring show and sale. At first I was never really into jewel orchids, but I really like the sparkle on it. I also did buy this for the flowers. Compared to the other jewel orchid flowers, I think this one is a lot prettier. The lip is a lot more fimbriated. So yeah, I'm happy to have this plant. One issue is that it's a bit leggy on this side. You can see, I did ask some members like how to manage it, and one person mentioned it could start pushing out roots along the edge here, and then you could just have it growing in the media like that, but that's not what's happening right now. But for now I'm just gonna leave it. I think it's okay. I mean, this part is finding the light and it's pushing out a new leaf. You can see here there's a little node that's coming out, so I think there might be another growth coming out this way, so we'll see. And this one is Miscellaneous Amplexa, and this was given to me by Orchidea. So Orchidea, if you're watching, it's still doing well for me. I'd say this is a very good bloomer in my environment. I think it's one of the few Miscellaneous that can do warm conditions pretty well, so I guess that's why it's done well for me. One thing I noticed that this leaf looks kind of weird, and upon closer inspection, I think it's starting to get a mites issue, so I need to take care of that. But overall, very good to have in my collection. And this one is Miltassia Charles M. Fitch, and I got this as a thank you gift for volunteering. And previously I had some issues with mites on this plant. I think I have it under control. This one is the latest growth, and it's pretty green and bigger than the previous one, so that's a good sign. I don't generally grow oncidiums, they're not my favorite, but I'm going to try to grow this one and have it bloom. Alrighty, so that's my inventory check-in for this year. I hope it was interesting, and in my next video will be my end of September updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!